Good evening. Good evening and hello everyone. Welcome to my episode 2 of season 1 of My Candid Conversations. I am simply overwhelmed with the feedback, the messages, the mails, uh, and the love that all of you have showered on me on my yesterday's first episode. And once again, I'm sorry for the little technical glitch, but I'm back and things should be good from now onwards. Eating Out, The Expectations and the Dilemma of the Common Man, Part 2, with Vinay Daruwala, Avi Chatterjee, and Rajiv Gandhi, is my today's episode. As I said yesterday, the first two, the one that was yesterday and today's, are to speak with the common man and understand their perspective of this whole conundrum that we are in right now, and hopefully to get some answers from them about what they think about getting out and leading a normal life once again, and hopefully getting back to eating outside. We'll be hearing about them. As I shared yesterday, starting tomorrow, I have the next series on the professional people. It's a professional series, and the Common Man series ends today. Please do join in and register if you like what's happening so far. You'll have all the details on the various social platforms that I mentioned here. And I do sincerely look forward to having a lot of you back and new ones as well. For those of you who joined in again, thank you. And thank you very much. For those of you who are new, please check out the earlier episode as well. It'll be up on the platforms very soon. Okay. I'm going to start introducing my panelists, and I'm in a little better headspace than I was yesterday at the initial start. So here we go. Great. Okay, great. So Vinayfar Daruwala, uh, she's here in her personal capacity as a working mother, an individual, and a wife of a very loving husband. Vinayfar is a mother since 15 years, and she's been working as an executive secretary for over 25 years. She maintains an attitude with gratitude. She's always smiling. She always wishes for the best in people. And I've not seen anyone more positive than Vinayfar in my life as yet. Of course, she has innumerable awards under her belt. She's a sports enthusiast. She wouldn't be a Parsi if she was not into sports, Girl Guides, music, and judo as well, Vinayfar. I remember that. She enjoys interacting with people. For those of us who know her, we know that she does. And yes, she enjoys talking as much as I do. I'm so happy to have you here today, Vinayfar. And for those of you who don't know, she's a linguist. She speaks, converses, writes, translates, and in more than five different languages. Welcome aboard, Vinayfar. And I'm going to, have some fun in having my conversation with you today. I will take the liberty, as I always have, with you, but I know I can do that with you. So, and please don't hesitate to speak your mind out, because that's what this is all about. Welcome aboard. Avi Chatterjee, this young kid, is a student of the University of Edinburgh. He's my second panelist for today. He studies literature. He's a sports enthusiast. He's also a movie buff, a voracious reader who enjoys pizzas and burgers. And of course, staying overseas, ordering takeaways is his go-to solution. Avi's presence is very special for me and for this session. He has recently flown down from UK into back home in Bombay because of the situation that we are in. He took the repatriation flight. He had to be, due to government regulations, he was in quarantine at a hotel, and we would speak with him to learn about that experience, his travel and his experience, and of course, a lot about some parts of his eating out behavior and what he expects in the coming days from the industry. Welcome, Avi. Lovely to have you here. And thank you for joining me. And Rajiv Gandhi, a foodie and a home cook. Uh, I've known Rajiv since many, many years. Started off as a relationship of a supplier and a vendor to someone who was hiring professional services. Uh, an outspoken person, as much as I am, speaks his mind out, uh, doesn't hesitate to call a spade. And that's what I love most about him. Uh, from an educational perspective, he is a computer engineer. He's currently a proprietor of a visual merchandising and a branding company. In his earlier job role, he work travel took him across borders, and he has been exposed to multiple cuisines. Uh, he's a teetotaler, but he definitely has an opinion on food, and a good one that too, even if I say so. Like me, he's a street food enthusiast, and he has a hunger and love for fine dining too, provided he gets value for money in that stream. He claims that being Atmanirbhar in food is better than staying hungry. Lockdown has helped him and his absolutely adventurous family unleash the creative chefs amongst them all. Rajiv is right now donning multiple hats at home, one of a chef, cook, foods provider, plus, of course, also doing jhadu, katka, pota as well, like most of us. Welcome, Rajiv. Welcome, Avi. And welcome, Benaifer, on season one's episode two of Candid Conversations. Your voice, your views beyond the smokescreen with me. I'm going to jump in straight and start this with the youngest panelist on our show today, which is Avi. And I want to hear from him as much as want the others to hear about his travels, his journey, and a little bit more about his hotel stay. And of course, we'll talk about food. So, Avi, this one's coming straight to you. I'm going to request all of you to unmute yourselves and get your videos on whilst I try and get rid of this PPT. Bear with me till then. And Navi, coming straight to you, buddy. Talk to us through about everything. Yeah, great. So, Avi, this one's, you guys can put your mics and your videos on. You can see the two of you. Binaifer, if you could get your video on and also unmute yourselves, all of you. Yeah, I can see you guys. Great. So, Avi, this one's coming to you. Okay,
Yeah.
the airport. So, just walk us through right from UK, London, whichever Heathrow, whichever airport you came, right up to
Yep.
Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj Terminal.
Okay, done. So when you get into when you enter the Heathrow terminal, because this Air India flights are like a special thing, they already put you in a separate line, and then you obviously social distance in the line. Checking in is supposed to be social distance, but that obviously wasn't followed. But it took a long time, so I was standing in the line for like 45 minutes. On the flight, yes, they did have all the staff did have PPE, and everyone in the middle row as well, like all the passengers who sat in the middle row for some reason also had to wear protective gear because they were, I don't know, they were more at risk. Food, I know this is a this is a conversation about eating out, and we have Rajiv here as a foodie, but I don't mean to be a little snotty, but there was a snack box and there was a meal box. Okay, Rajiv, tell me what you think about this. In the snack box, okay, the main meal was a croissant with cheese just stuffed in it, cheese slice, and in the meal box, the meal was a cheese sandwich. So I mean, not really a lot of diversity. But I mean, you can't complain. The in-flight entertainment was turned off, obviously, because they didn't want people touching the screens, anything. They just wanted to minimize all of that. Once I landed in Bombay, it was pretty smooth. You first have to get Arogya Setu on your app. Otherwise, they don't let you go through till immigration. So I had a hard time doing that because I didn't have my Indian SIM. So I had to buy one over there on the spot. They check you for temperature, everything. Then once you get your bag and leave, you either are staying on in Mumbai or you're going to another state or so and so. So you stand in your respective line, and then the BMC escorts you to your hotel that you choose. In my
Avi, Avi,
case,
sorry, can you just come a little closer and speak a little louder, please?
yeah,
Just a bit.
sure. Is this better?
Yes, please. Yes, please.
Okay, so I was saying that once you land in Mumbai, depending on where you're going to a different state or staying on in Mumbai, you stand in that line, and then the BMC escorts you to wherever you need to go. So in my case, it was a hotel.
Okay, so thanks for that perspective. So, what did you eat? Did you take the meal box or did you take the snack box?
I didn't take any box.
You carrying?
I
Are you
didn't I
carrying
didn't
food?
no, I didn't eat at all on the flight.
And were you uncomfortable having so many people? I mean, the flight almost, of course, full and you know the middle seat occupied. Were you uncomfortable as a passenger or as a traveler?
I would say there was a certain level of discomfort because obviously you want it to be social distance and you know it can transmit. And now there's increasing research showing that it spreads on planes. So yes, I would say there was a certain level of discomfort. But that being said, I took a train from Edinburgh to London Heathrow, and
Okay,
over there was social distancing. So there was social distancing on the train, so I was pretty fine.
okay.
Yeah.
And how was your stay at the? You were at the Taj Santa Cruz, right?
No, so in Colaba.
Oh, they put you at the Taj Mahal Hotel.
Yes.
Okay. They've been doing some great work, not only they, but a lot of other hotels.
Yes.
I have a lot of friends and ex-students there, and a lot of ex-colleagues there,
Okay.
currently working. And I've been in touch with them, and they're doing a fantastic. Not only they, but not only that brand, but almost all of them. But that's a separate conversation. But you felt safe in the hotel, and I'm not talking about the Taj Hotel, but just as a passenger who came down, government has enforced 14 days quarantine. Did you feel safe in the hotel?
Yes, I did feel very safe. Because I mean, you have to say they handled it really well. I mean, it's all about the service, and really, round of applause for people working in the service industry because the way they make you feel comfortable, the way they talk to you, the way they interact with you, they just they're at risk because I was carrying it, and they very well could have gotten it from me, but they didn't look at me like that. I didn't feel that like any time like I was being looked down upon or anything. So I would say that it's about how they treat you, and they did a great job. So I felt really comfortable.
Yeah, I think that's
Yeah.
something, and I'm not plugging anybody, but that's the Taj way of hospitality.
Mhm.
And as much as every other hotel's hospitality, they really love their guests. And I think at times like this, everyone steps up, and it's great to see that. So I'll come back to you a little bit more on your stay part and the food part because this is at the end of the day going to be part of that. So that's more important. So coming to you, Binaifer, uh, Radio Club, huh? So yes, you guys practically live there almost, right? And eat out of there. Now tell me, I am very curious to know as a family, okay, should all things go, and let's really say from Monday, the government of Maharashtra and India say lockdown is over, you are out, you can go out, right? Are you and your family going to go to Radio Club? Will you go on the first given weekend?
I don't think so. On the first given weekend, we may not go. There are a lot of apprehensions because we don't know who is going to cook the food, how hygienic it will be, whether the person who's cooking the food had COVID or not. Although we are eager, we look forward to, we are hoping that the Radio Club opens soon because it used to be a home away from home, a second home for Aspi, for me, for Delzine. But since the past 3 months, I have enjoyed cooking at home. We have, all three of us are like a team. Aspi is like our master chef. I'm his assistant chef, and
So
Delzine is our like baby chef, sous chef.
right.
We
So
all do
great.
our dishes in our.
Good. So sorry. I want to just bring you back to a particular point that you said that not in a very long time to come. So great. I mean that's expected. Uh, Aspi loves swimming. Is he going to go back swimming there, or not for the next 1 year?
No, no, he
Okay.
won't.
Okay.
We are very
now,
health conscious.
okay. So coming to, I have a counter on something that you said, that you don't know who's going to cook the food in the club and how it's going to be cooked, etc. So I, through this medium, to you as common men and women, and most of the people who are logged in, and my view here is that the hotel body, okay? There is the FHRAI and the NRAI, and of course there's the Club Association, and then there is the FSSAI, and the entire gamut of directives. They have set rules and standards and SOPs which have been passed on to entertainment people or hospitality people, okay? Some of it is work in progress, some of it is still being debated in some form or the other. So there are already set guidelines that, you know, there'll be distance between table, there will be PPE gears, there will be this many people who will be allowed to come to cook, or in, you know, the number of employees and number of guests. So my point is that I don't see the club being as it was in its glory, with everyone and their father and family and, you know, guests coming bumping into each other and fighting for that. But there are going to be absolute measures put on and enforced upon. Whether a restaurant or a hotel or a dining outlet opens or not is up to them. That having said, that's my question to you, Binayak, is that if the radio club had enough of PPE geared people, staff, social distancing, table one away from the other, a minimum 8 feet or maybe even 10 feet in because of the space that they have, uh, and you were able to see the staff in absolute hygiene and sanitation standards maintained, would you still go there, or would you wait for people to come back and tell you, hey, you know, this was good and I liked it, or you would say just wait and watch? As a consumer, I'm asking you.
Yes, I will use the second option of asking people to, like, you know, who are going there more often than us. We go there for weekends once a week.
Sure.
I mean, before the lockdown, we used to go once a week. So I would rather ask people who go there every day. There are some people who actually live in the club from morning till night. We know that. So
Yeah.
I will take a feedback from them. More so, my brother-in-law, Aspi's elder brother, he will probably be the first one to go and or maybe give us a feedback. So I'll wait for a feedback and then try out, maybe go there and have a look.
So you're okay if Aspi's elder brother risks himself to go and check it out, but you are not going to risk yourself or Aspi or.
I don't want anyone to risk themselves. Neither am I asking him to go first. But if he goes, I will ask him, have you gone? Because we get updates on WhatsApp from our committee member. And once the club is open and safe for public, I'm sure they'll give it to us, and we'll wait for a few days and see what the feedback is.
Good.
Just to be precautious.
Yeah, so I didn't want to put in a spot, but thanks. You're a sport, and I know you would take it in the right way. I have one question again for you, Binaifar, in context to the club. I'm not too sure. I'm not a club member, but has your club started home delivery for you guys in the last few weeks? Have they come
Not
to
yet.
you and said you're doing home delivery?
No, not yet.
Okay, great. Thank you, Binaifar, and more in a couple of minutes. Rajiv.
Sure.
Right, tell me.
You tell me, sir. You are you're cooking at home. You're feeding your family, and you are doing jugaad to get food from outside. You have been doing that for the last couple of months. So please tell us a little bit more about that. I think that sounds very interesting to find someone who is a little, I would say, You are adventurous. Your family is also equally adventurous. A little brave, if I may say so. What I want to really know, and I guess a lot of people would like to know, is did fear not come into your mind? And again, I'm not being personal here. I am just curious, okay, to understand when do you start ordering? What kind of jugaad you did? And I know, so all yours. Go ahead.
Okay.
Take us through that.
For me, lockdown was nothing but staying at home. It is nothing different as such. We used to do cooking even at home. I used to do once in a week or maybe twice in a week. It now became once in a day. And it's more from the point of view that all of us at our home, we love food. Even my 2-year-old, he loves to eat pickles rather than regular milk and bread wala fanda. So from that point of view, it is always a challenge. What new, what new, what new. To add to it, maids are not there. So at the end of the day, even wife, she has a limitation taking care of the kid and doing the regular chores. I have my limitations. The kids' schools have started about from first week of June onwards as well. So everything adds up, and it was something for us. It was like enough is enough. We really don't know how long this is going to be. And as far as food is concerned, to be very honest, cooked food वायरस मर जाता है यार, ठीक है, कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है. And we get your regular vegetables and bread from outside. It is going to be equally same at risk if you are going to order just your bread from somebody who's making it at a big factory as well as your regular restaurant.
So a point, thanks Rajiv. So a point quickly, what was the first food item that you ventured out or got home delivered or went out and did jugaad to get from outside, not home cooked? And how long ago was that?
Okay, this was somewhere in middle of May, for example, middle of May or maybe end of May. There is a local street food lady who makes vada pav. I am a Mumbaite by heart, and that's how I'm going to die. It's for sure. And I have a very, you can say, bad or good habit of keeping the numbers of all of these guys handy with me, whether it's a restaurant or whether it's just a roadside cart. I happened to just call this person, and she said that she's delivering, but from home. And her home is also maybe, like a bit near where we were staying across. So from that point of view, I simply told her if I want to order, then what? She said, you'll have to give me about 3 or 4 hours notice and I'll be able to get the needful done. Delivery, either I can get it done from my son or you can come across and pick it up. And I guess that was the first time.
Vada pav was the first item that you did.
Vada pav, bhaji pav, as well as your kanda bhaji, all 3 of them.
Great. So I'm going to throw my perspective to you here, and I think besides our size and our love for food, personally, when this whole thing happened, and I think the first 2.5 weeks, all of us were worried. I won't say scared, but worried. But when we could go out after about 3 weeks to do our shopping, Meher and I went out, and I was delighted. I was actually driving around for 2 things. Okay, trying to search where the hell can I get cigarettes, and where can I get a vada pav to eat. Cigarettes I didn't get, and vada pav I found, right? And without battling it, and it was beautifully done, okay? Beautifully. The guy was, I've never seen the way the guy had, he was a street side vendor, completely in protective gear, very sweet of him. And there were throngs and throngs of people around him. And I'm telling you, I took one myself. Meher had gone inside, so I was waiting outside and shopping, and I read it out. So I have the question is for Binayfer. Manish says he just wanted to know Binayfer's view after he felt, after she felt cooked food could transfer infection. Okay, Binayfer's view whether she felt cooked food could transfer infection. So Binayfer, Rajiv has just answered that in a different way.
Whether?
So do you think that cooked food can transfer infection, or will you be? Can the disease or cooked food is safe in short? So
I don't think cooked food can transfer infection, but just now we are comfortable cooking at home. There is no, like, all 3 of us take turns to cook, so we are just we are worried of getting food from cooked food also from outside. And as Rajiv rightly said, we get bread, everything also from outside. Once a week, my husband goes and gets vegetables and dal rice and other provisions.
Sure.
And we eat simple home cooked food.
All
so
right.
we are just worried. It's not that we have any preconceived notion about transferring of infection.
Great, thanks. Avi, this question is coming to you from Meher. She says, was it frightening being quarantined in a hotel room?
The good question. It wasn't frightening. It was just weird because you can't leave your hotel room. So on one hand, it's wow, it's like a 7 day, 14-day holiday at a five-star hotel. But on the other hand, you just can't leave your room, and I think more than frightening, it just gets. You need to keep yourself busy. You need to be always be doing something. But no, it wasn't frightening. There was no quarantines, stigma. I felt like I was being quarantined. That was not there.
Okay. And Avi, there's one more question that is addressed to you from Siddharth. He
Okay.
wishes to ask you, how do you think the airlines should look at service of food during the current times? Should it be how it was originally, that is handmade or made by a processor which doesn't involve human intervention? Okay, I hope you got that.
Yeah, I got that. I think the I think the two things that one should keep in mind when one is deciding what to do, the airline industry is deciding what to do. One is efficiency and the other is consumer satisfaction. So I mean you have to find a good balance between that. So given the times of the virus, given circumstances, I don't think that should be one's approach because at the Taj, I'm speaking from experience, all the food was hand cooked and it was made in house, and that actually made me feel safer, and I didn't have a problem with it being hand cooked. So I guess for the airline industry, you just have to see if it's more efficient, and if the consumers are satisfied with food being hand cooked, and yeah, I guess that's it.
Sure.
It's two
Great.
parameters.
Good reply. Thanks. So, Siddharth, here's my perspective in addition to what Avi said. So, mostly airlines, they have a central catering service, all right? They either have a tie-up with a catering service company, which is a professional airline catering company, or they have a tie-up with a hotel brand of their choice, uh, which are closer to the airports across the world and across the airports in India and wherever. So, in that, it's an industry by itself. All right. See, airline catering is an industry by itself. Uh, there is manual intervention, but there's also processed food intervention. Because of the fact that the airline catering is an extremely sensitive uh, catering establishment services after hospital catering, okay, in the food world, because of obvious reasons, the rules and regulations are extremely stringent, if I may use that word very loosely. Uh, so they cannot fully depend on automated food and cannot depend on processor-driven food, which is processed outside and brought into there. I'm not saying it's not; they do, but the bigger players in the industry, they have their own food processing unit within their unit, and they maintain hygiene, sanitation, so that right from farm to fork, they have a traceability part of that. Having said that, I'm not at all saying that they don't buy processed food or from a non-processor, uh, which is the one that is selling across as hot food or warm food or serviced food. I hope that kind of quickly answers your question. And before I move on to the chat with you guys, Avi, there's one more question related to your hotel stay, and after that I will
Yes.
start chatting, and we will go back to the questions after some time. So, Avi,
Yes.
what was the food that was served at the hotel? Was room service allowed, or was there a fixed menu?
So in the package that you're paying for, there's three meals, breakfast, lunch, and dinner that comes within the package. And you can obviously order from the restaurant at any point. So room service is always on. Just give me a minute. Okay, yeah. So just to give you an example, this was what a lunch was like. I don't know if you can see clearly.
Yeah, we can see.
Okay, so
Excellent.
it came in these trays. So it was left outside the room. So there's rice, pav, and there was a dessert. And so this was the typical meal, and it was pretty filling, so I didn't feel the need to order that much room service. Only ordered once or twice towards the end actually.
Okay, and this is questions from me to you. You are a sports enthusiast.
Yes.
Uh, were you allowed to use any sporting activity? Swimming, gym?
Nothing, it was all shut, so it's room quarantine.
What about
Although
walking? What about walking around the stairs up and down? Was that because some hotels I've heard they allowed that, but in particular, timelines, time zones.
I didn't ask because when I was feeling too, like I was in the room for a long time, I had a balcony, so I just went there and paced while listening to music. So I didn't really want to, I didn't really feel the need to exercise myself per se.
Okay, great. So I'm going to take this next point from my side to Rajiv. Rajiv, a lot has been said in media, and we've been hearing about it, reading about it, uh, that restaurant industry should be allowed to be open, all right, or the hotel should be allowed to be open. To if airlines have opened, why not hotels and restaurants? And again, not trying to get uh, any political points here in any way, but the government has a view on that. Okay, right or wrong, irrespective, we don't really know right now, but they have a view, and which is fine. What, in your opinion, is that as a consumer at this stage that we are, do you think restaurants should be allowed to be opened, including bars, or should it be uh, just restaurants and no bars? I want your perspective, and then I'll move to the others with some other specific questions.
Okay.
Just 1 second, Rajiv.
Yeah.
I can see someone has raised their hand. Could you please use the Q&A thing to, chat? And because I can't do much with your raising the hand, but if you have something to say, please put it in the Q&A, and I will take it up at an appropriate time. Thank you. Yeah, Rajiv, go ahead.
Okay. Disclosure first. I am a teetotaler. So as far as the bars are concerned, I have no inclinations or liking towards them to be open or closed. So I'll just go ahead with only the restaurants that is there. I feel the restaurants should open. Obviously, you are going to have loads and loads of SOPs, which are going with standard operating procedures, which are going to be given by the government.
Little louder, Rajiv.
Okay.
Little louder.
Can you hear me now better? Yeah. Okay. I think the restaurants should open. There will be a lot of procedures that you might need to follow. There will be a lot of patience that will be required from the restaurants because unlike me, you will have more than 95% of the people who will not be really ready to venture into restaurants so soon. I would say I would be one of the first ones in order to go across to my club, the MCA, for example, rather than rest everybody. The only important thing for here to know is people are going to come to you if you make them feel safe. Now it is going to be up to the restaurant industry in order to take the necessary steps and in order to show that we have taken the necessary steps to the people so that they feel safe that I can come and I can eat across at your particular location. One of the main reasons as to why I went across and had that vada pav even during the lockdown relaxation was there because I was confident of the fact that the owner or the maker who was there is following all the due processes that is required across in order to ensure that everything needs to be safe. And that was most important for me in whatever jugaad that I have done. I have picked up a couple of more locations and I've picked up parcels for my house, even though they were not delivering across, or I've just gone across and sat in the car and we have had in the car outside the restaurant because you are not allowed to sit into the restaurants. And it is only and only because of the fact that they give you that sense of safety or security. That number one, the food that is coming across is fresh. It is not one of your so-called recooked or your frozen foods kind of a thing. And we are maintaining all the necessary safety standards, etc., whatever is required across in order to ensure that you don't have any sort of an issue whatsoever. And that is what I think is going to be the most important thing across. The restaurants will have to make us feel safe so that tomorrow we can go and we can enjoy ourselves. So I am all in for opening of the restaurants, obviously with all the procedures, etc., that the government wants to put in place.
Great, thank you. Thanks for the perspective, and that's rolling me into the next point is, and this is open to all three of you. Before and after that, I want to come to Binayfar specifically with one cobweb that I want you to clear for me, Binayfar. So. What Rajiv said was absolutely, good, and I'm delighted to see a common man's perspective. I'm sure that each one has their own view. But Rajiv and Binayfar and Avi, taking off from what Rajiv said, that the restaurateurs, hoteliers, or food and beverage operators should do some, of course they will do all that stuff. The specific question to you is, has your favorite restaurant tier or a brand reached out to you via social media? They all have your contact details. They all have your, they keep sending you discounted offers. But in these times, and let's start with Rajiv first, moving to Binayfar, and then probably to Avi, who's probably may not have enough people in India to chase him, but I would love to hear him about the UK as well. So Rajiv, any of your favorite restaurants told you, hey, we are, here's what we're doing. Here's the follow-up messages, or even chased you to ask you what would make you come back to your restaurant? I'm just was there anything that's come to you from the restaurants?
There have been 3 restaurants who have got in touch with me.
Okay.
One was Urban Tadka, the second is an East Asia Chinese, and the third one is Bunty Juice. All 3 of them have come out in the form of marketing and advertising, saying that now we are open for takeaway orders. And these are the steps that we are taking in order to ensure that the food is safe for you. And at the same time, there was one restaurant which I would like to mention, who I ordered through the online platform of delivery, who made it a point in order to send a mail, even though it is a standard mail that they send across to each and every individual. But this is probably the only restaurant which has sent us across an SMS or a mail saying that we are really sorry that we cannot serve you in person. However, we have taken all of these steps which are necessary across in order to ensure that everything is safe. And still, if you have any issues or you have any feedback as far as the food or anything is concerned, feel free to get in touch directly rather than through this particular online channel. So that is something which gives me that sense of passion as far as the industry is concerned. And those are the people whom I would love to go across and meet in person, saying that even this small standard emailer which you have sent across did make a difference across to me. And I'm really happy with the kind of the food or the service that you have given to the extent that was possible across.
Thanks, Rajiv. Binayfar, has Martin's done something for you? Has Radio Club sent you something? What's your or any
Radio
other
Club?
or any other
No news.
Any other fort restaurant near your work that you frequent?
Yes. So we know the owners of UDP restaurant at Fort, and that used to be our favorite spot on Saturday evenings for neer dosa or a snack or an uttapam or pav bhaji. And I just had a casual chat with the owner's son, and he told me that we had started takeaway orders. So I was delighted to see that message. And I said, wow, I said, we all do home deliveries. And he said, no, through Swiggy you can order. So again, I was stonewalled. I said, Swiggy, I don't want to take a chance with Swiggy. So I said, if I am ever coming to Fountain area, I will personally come and pick up one of our favorite dishes and bring home and enjoy with my.
Okay, so let me ask you that on that. Why are you okay with that restaurant doing home delivery and not okay with Swiggy? Swiggy is not doing anything. He's just a delivery chap. Poor fellow is taking his scooter, coming, picking up the brown paper bag, and coming and dropping it to you. So, I'm curious. Why would you feel? I'm just curious.
I don't know who that person is. I haven't come in contact with him. I mean, this Swiggy guy.
Sure.
We've heard rumors about these delivery guys eating, munching on the way, or we've seen videos. But UDP, we've been eating for years, so we can go there and take away.
I agree, and I was just trying to have a little fun with you. But
I have nothing against the Swiggy guy.
Yeah, but
I would love to give him some business, in fact.
But just on a different platform, don't believe, you and everyone else, don't believe on all WhatsApp forwards, okay? That is coming about.
Very true.
Yeah. Okay,
I
so
agree.
one specific question again to you before I go to Avi. So, Binayfar, what will make you feel safe, and what should restaurants do to get you back into restaurants today?
Well, as Rajiv and Avi also mentioned, I would just add on is that they should give us that proper comfort level that they have taken full precautions from their sides. They have adhered to all the rules and regulations and specifications that the government has asked them to, and like sitting at a particular distance and serving food without, contact, maintaining that social distancing, wearing the proper PPE, those who serve us. So if they give us all those comfort zones and tell us that, okay, these are the things that we have implemented, and we would
you
like
would be
you all to go.
comfortable then to go. Okay, great.
Yes,
Thanks.
yes, yes.
Okay,
Why
Avi,
not?
Yes.
thanks, Binayfa. Thanks. Avi, any UK-based restaurants? You mentioned that you're a takeout guy and you live practically.
Yeah.
takeout.
Yes.
I'm assuming that was in UK when you're studying.
Yes.
So have any of them got back to you saying, "Hey, we're missing you" and stuff like that?
Yes, in fact, there's this one Indian takeaway joint right next to my house where I live, and they've got out to me. They didn't actually know that I came back, so they were like, "Where are you? What are you doing?" You know, because
Yeah.
but over there, I don't think it's a really the takeout place didn't have to push a lot because Edinburgh is a university-centric town. So I
Yes.
mean, students are pretty dependent on takeout on a daily basis, so they didn't have to, put as much effort. But that being said, I mean, this is a kind of a disappointment. But McDonald's did reach out to me. McDonald's has sent me these mails saying, this is what we're doing and this is what we're doing. And I think I would feel safe, actually, to because I think the only thing missing is information,
Yeah.
and that's leading to paranoia. I mean, I've started going out, meeting one or two friends, not in big groups, very small groups. And we were talking that as soon as Corona and something is mentioned in the same sentence, with no logic or anything, that's just enough to push everyone away. So I
Sure.
think as if you give information to people, they'll feel comfortable.
So yesterday in my first episode series, I had three different generations, if I may use the term. Okay, and we had a lovely chat as well. And I asked that question to all of them. I'm taking the liberty to ask you guys today as well. That would you be comfortable going out to a restaurant, and if the restaurant specifically uh, at the end or beforehand uh, advertised or put up a placard, or there was a tent card or some kind of information that you are going to be charged an extra COVID charge. I'm not talking about a tax which goes to the government in some way or the other, and I'm talking about a charge which is going to go to the restaurateurs or the brand, because they have to spend more on cleaning, more frequent cleaning. They're wearing fancy clothes, I mean, fancy stuff, gloves and masks, and probably a face shield, and all that drama that comes in. And they told you beforehand that there is a COVID charge. How would you feel about it? And besides that, would you still want to go in? So, Binayfa, you want to start with that, and I'll go backwards. Then Binayfa, Avi, and Rajiv.
Yes. Well, if the charge, I think it should be justifiable because we are already now used to GSTs. And if the restaurant has taken that extra care to provide the PPE equipments or the kits or the food production care, why not? I mean, if it is a decent percentage of the, like say a 5% or I think that should be okay. We shouldn't complain
Would you
because
like
now
it?
we are all used to GST also. But it should be not too high, too low. It should be
Correct.
a decent
So yeah,
percentage.
so I was coming to that. Percentage is too vague a term, Binayfa. Let's say let's specify. Let me specify. If it's a per person, okay, not per bill. If it's a per person charge, what's a number that you would be comfortable with? So whether you went with a family of 10 or a couple going out, it's a per person cover. Like it's like a cover charge for COVID. What is the number that you would be
This
comfortable with?
Well, it all depends on what you order and how much is your total bill also. Like if I'm going to buy something for
So give me, no,
100
give me,
rupees
no,
or
no.
200 rupees,
Give me a figure. No, give me a figure. You're going to a restaurant
I think
and
if it's a restaurant which is grade 1 like UDP or something, and if they take around 100, rupees, I think we shouldn't complain. But they should give us the product should be satisfactory
so
and they
let
should
me,
justify why they are taking.
okay, so let me ask you a question. Let's say you and Mr. X who are working in Fort in your office, and you guys go down to the UDP to eat. and you are ordering a idli sambar and he's ordering a masala dosa. Your idli sambar is 90 rupees. His masala dosa is also 90 rupees, figuratively speaking. So are you okay to pay 150 rupees as COVID charges over and above that per person? I'm curious.
Then I think the UDP has to decide how much they are going to charge according to their rates. Otherwise, it will be like unpractical or illogical.
So then,
What are they going to, how are they going to justify that charge? Because I may be okay to pay if I'm going from office or
yeah.
personal level. But there are people who go every day. I may go once a week or twice a week, or then I would say, okay, I'll take away, I'll order online and ask them to deliver it.
Yeah.
Now, even in that parcel, if I order something for 100 rupees and they charge 150 rupees, then it's like they will probably lose out on their clients. It may not be justifiable.
Sure, great, thank
So
you.
I think the restaurant is the best judge to take a call on that. And then if we find it practical and logical, we can go ahead and pay that charge.
Thank you. That was a lovely answer, and thanks for giving me an opportunity to push you to in that perspective. Rajiv, your thoughts? Sorry, I'll come to Avi last. I'll take you for next year.
I'm not ready to pay. Let's be very honest. It's a business.
Yeah.
If you're passionate about food and feeding people, first manage. It is not something that is a customer's issue. It is a genuine issue worldwide. Every single business is suffering today, maybe except for your kirana walas or your doodh walas or your medical walas. Okay, so from that point of view, being said, I very, very strongly believe that at the end of the day, if they have to take a hit on their profits, it is necessary, because they need to understand that today, for example, if I have an X restaurant, let's say, for example, you have a mainland China, where an average bill comes to around 1200 to 1500 rupees per head. I will not be going to mainland China every week or every month for that matter. It will be for specific occasions like maybe a birthday or an anniversary or taking some kind of a clientele out. However, the same thing, if I look at maybe a level down, a restaurant which serves me maybe Indian Chinese, not very authentic Chinese kind of a thing, I might do with that, and I might go to that particular restaurant more frequently. So it is a call that the industry needs to take. You can either fleece me once or you can invite me more than once. It is as simple as that. Today, whatever the cost of your PPE or etc. that you are taking is not something that is meant for me alone. It is something which is going to be a precautionary requirement for you even to reopen. Then why do you pass on the additional cost across? Let's be honest, food industry today is one of the largest profit-making industries. You make it really grand. You make it really grand by simply increasing the grandeur. You go to any A-class restaurants, you have so huge paintings and you have excellent lighting and everything. What matters, Satyan, is most importantly, the food first. Even if you have entire gold leafing which is done around, and if you serve me shit food, I'm not going to be going back again. And I really don't mind if you cut down on all the rest of the grandeur. Today, I don't want your guys to have pressed clothes and everything, because everybody is going to be under PPE here. You might as well come in shorts and in your bundis here. I really don't care as far as the PPE is there on top of it. There are so many overheads which you can cut down. Look at it rather than just passing on the cost. It's as simple as that.
Okay, thanks for the very, very passionate view. Loved every bit of it. And, I am going to use this in my series of conversations with my industry friends that's starting from tomorrow, the professional series. And I'm absolutely sure that you will come on board as an attendee, Rajiv, and as many other people who are listening. And I'll talk about those in a bit. But thank you. I have one point to disagree with you in that this is one of the highest profit-making industry. It is not. And we'll have a separate conversation on that.
No, one small thing, sir. Satyan, how many times have you cooked at home during this lockdown?
I haven't cooked once.
Okay. I have cooked almost every single day. Okay. I have cooked all the way from risottos to pastas to something
get
which
you.
is really weird.
I know. I
I
get what
know the cost of the raw materials and making.
Yes, I understand, and I know you were going to say that. Yes, you are absolutely right that you know the cost. You are absolutely right that इस इतना cost है वो hotel वाले को साला 10% मैं profit नहीं बनाता हूँ वो बना सकता है. My point is that not, and again, let me kind of cover it up with a circle, and we're not getting into this debate. We will talk it offline, and I'll welcome you in the professional series, and you can chat, and I will put it across because I don't own a restaurant. I used to, and today I don't. Now, just a perspective from the industry. There are a lot of costs that are straightforward, hidden, and unhidden. There are a lot of costs which are direct, and a lot of costs that are indirect. The industry has to maintain. Yes, you're right that who's asking for a chandelier, who's asking for a fancy portrait picture. I agree with you, but there are a lot of costs which need to be kind of justified. Having said that, not it's a very misnomer that people have that this industry is the highest profit making. They are not. I'm telling you, I've been in this industry for over 30 years. I have run businesses for others, made money, run my own business, and a full-fledged restaurant business, and it's extremely difficult. Okay, hats off to people who are surviving. Hats off to and again, I'm not saying it because of anything else. Genuinely, I don't know if you or the others are aware, but there have been in the last 1.5 months, there are big names in the restaurant industry worldwide, big names who have chosen to shut their business.
Yes.
Not
Yes,
pause,
yes.
but shut.
Yes.
They've said we'll take a rain check, we'll come back, not good times. And I have my own view, and that's the discussion that is going to go for the future. But coming back to this, I just want to leave you with a thought that we are not a highest profitable industry. Thank you. And Avi?
Yes. I mean, there's really no way I'm adding anything to this very well-rounded discussion. But I just wanted to say, like, I'm not a part of this industry. Just from the perspective of an outsider, I think we should be asking the question. You're saying that there's extra costs of cleaning. My question is, why isn't this cleaning already happening? Why is there this need to do extra cleaning? You know,
Yes.
that should already be happening. It's a place.
Yeah. Sorry. So it's not for the cleaning. You're absolutely right, Avi.
Okay.
And I want to share with you and with the others that there are specific, clear guidelines that the hotel and hospitality industry, restaurant industry has to follow. In India, the health standard is the FSSAI. That's the Food Safety Standard Authority of India. They have not today, not because of COVID. They have set guidelines. Unfortunately, a lot of us in the industry chose not to follow them. Even before. If they did, we would be at a very different level. And believe me, I'm going to have some solid fun with my industry people starting from tomorrow. With me on a very different avatar than I am with you people today, and what I was yesterday with a different set of people. But a straight question to you today: if you went back tomorrow, if you went back and McDonald's said instead of a €1 burger, it is charging you €1.5, and that 50 whatever pence is going as a COVID charge. Would you be okay? Yes or no?
I would not be okay with it, but because I miss McDonald's, I would buy it.
Okay, great.
Yes.
I am taking some quick questions now, and let me kind of get back. So Avi, thank you. That is from Siddharth. The question, Satyan noted, Siddharth. Okay, so Avi, this is coming to you from on the flight that you took. Did you feel safe using toilets on board, and was it sanitized? This is a question coming from overseas, from Behrouz.
Okay, it was sanitized, and but the toilet was the main hazard point. You know, everyone is scared of the toilet, and I feel like there's no running around it. There will always be a certain level of fear. But that being said, I did use the toilet. It didn't feel safe. I did feel uncomfortable, and I don't think you could ever no amount of sanitizing or anything would make me feel comfortable, because especially on a flight, people are using the toilet. So they were sanitized, but I still didn't feel safe.
Great, thanks. Question to Rajiv coming from Karthik Naidu. Hi Rajiv, coming from the F&B industry, you are my ideal customer. Okay, great. Rajiv, please, I will connect you with Karthik Naidu. He has a question. However, like the other panelists talk about cautioned, how a segment is being worried about eating out. Do you feel the QSR industry will see more of people like positive and wanting to try eating out, or people taking out time to come back to normal?
Okay.
Rajiv, you
Yeah.
can see the question in your.
Yeah, I see. Okay.
Yeah.
Your quick service restaurant like your McDonald's or Jumbo Kings back here in India, for example, are there. Uh, I think again it all depends upon how safe you are and how they make you feel safe about it. One of my major concerns was, in fact, which I want to ask even Satyan about was, uh, I know that preparing fresh fruit from scratch is something which is not going to have so much of an issue for me if it is done properly and cooked properly. Your QSR restaurants, most of your McDonald's and everybody has your frozen patties, or they have pre-cooked food which is just refried or reheated across and then sent across to you. I really don't know as far as the safety aspect of all of those things is concerned. I am more comfortable getting a vada pav on the street compared to maybe a vada pav from Jumbo King, only and only because of this reason, not because of anything else. So I guess it is something now up to the QSR restaurants as well, in order to make us feel that all of the cold chain, so-called whatever the delivery systems that they might be having in place, all of those are equally safe and taking care, because one of the major concerns of this virus is that it really does not live in higher temperatures, but if you have something cold or you take something in colder regions, the effect of this virus is comparatively devastating as compared to us. So I really want to ask you also this thing, whether sort of, you know, like frozen food or recooked food, is that safe enough or no? I really don't know about that.
Right. So I'll address it in a very different manner, and I'll address it to the point. You don't have to. You and the others don't really need to worry about the cold processed food that is kind of going. And I won't name brands here, but there are certain brands who do live cooking, fresh cooking. There are some who do frozen. That's the choice of their brand, but that's fine. But I will add here that their processor or the processing unit from which they get those patty or burger, the main thing, they are also backed by global standards. They have fantastic hygiene, sanitation, and procurement standards. I have been in the ingredient industry for over 8 years, and I have dealt with them trying to sell my products. I've been successful with some and challenged with the others is a different story. But so I know how they operate. So there's nothing to worry about. And I want to get this message to you and to others that specifically global brands, and I'm not taking away from the Indian brands. Indian brands are a force to reckon with. But when I say global brands, it's because of the sheer size and the volume of reach of cities and outlets and the money that they have and the recall value that they have. They are not going to gamble with quality ever. They've not done that. There's a few fluke case that happens one-off, like something happened with in one of the Asian countries a few years ago, but let's not talk about that. Coming to, so I hope that addresses your question, Rajiv. Is it okay?
Yeah, that is fair enough. So I think now even QSR restaurants are open for me.
Yeah. So, okay, I'm just taking a few questions. Just give me a second, guys. Vinayfer, I enjoy going out and socializing every day. Are you looking forward to meeting up with college friends groups, with our college friends group soon? This is from Sherry Rastamji.
Yes, yes, of course, Shelly. I am looking forward to meeting college friends, like how we met in January. It is something that we are waiting for and looking forward to, and I'm sure, like we have gone through the war, we have conquered the war in 1971. I was a kid. I know what it was, that feeling of fear and fright when the planes were going above our buildings. But Corona is something which we can't see. So we are scared, we are worried, but I know that we are going to conquer Corona soon.
Okay.
And we all will definitely meet soon.
Okay, great. So, Avi, question for you. I think people who want to desperately travel or are looking to travel are banking on your experience. So again, unfortunately, very happily, it's a toilet seat question coming. I'll keep it anonymous. I'm not going to read out the name. You can see the name. want to know about the hygiene level in the toilets on the craft. Avi?
Um, they're not that good. I don't know why, but I think one thing that should definitely be done is the toilet should be cleaned more frequently on flights, because the first time I went it was okay, but the second time I went there was like certain liquid on the floor. I don't know what it was, and I just didn't. I felt very uncomfortable.
Okay. And one more question to you, Avi. Would you be comfortable taking a flight anytime soon now? This is from Nehal.
Yes, I would actually. I mean, I wouldn't want to take a flight for a holiday, but let's say I have to go back to university, I will take the flight.
Okay, Binaifar. Uh, so we have Chef in Shorts, Irfan, shooting a comment for you. I wish there were more people like Binaifar who wouldn't mind paying an extra charge. So Binaifar, there you are. Go to Irfan's restaurants and please happily pay cover charge. Rajiv is not definitely going to come there for sure.
Irfan
Harsh,
is my ex-student, Irfan. Bonjour. And yes, because we are all from the hotel industry background, my husband has been in the hotel industry and I'm also a part of it, being an ex-teacher at the Sapphire Hotel Management course. So I do know what goes on behind the scenes in a hotel industry. I empathize with them. So why not
okay,
pay the charge when we are
great.
paying GST to the government?
So thanks, Bini. We will go to Irfan's restaurant and we will pay in case he and his brand
Irfan,
charge.
you'll have to take charges, huh? Because
Okay.
otherwise we won't come.
So there's a comment, sorry, question from Harsh. He says, "Can you cook food with PPE?" Okay, so Harsh, I'll take that one right now. I don't know. We have a restaurants and hotel series coming in tomorrow. Starting from tomorrow, I will ask this question in case you're not there, but I urge you to come in and ask, and it'll be a good chat. I also want to know from the industry how are they going to be, can they cook or have they tried it or whatever. One second. I'm just taking, I'm going to ignore, sorry, there's some common questions which are repeated, so I'm kind of moving on. Okay, one second. Food. Okay, Irfan says food cost is only one part, license fees, what about that? So that is in response to Rajiv's comment of that, and Rajiv, I mean, no comment needed right now, but this is Irfan, from the industry and the chef by profession and a very dear friend. So he wanted to throw his perspective. We'll have a separate chat on that, hopefully soon on that. Then I have, okay, Irfan, okay, Rajiv can read the rest of the comments, so I will not go here. Yes, Manish, I also disagree. I've made that point. Thanks. Rajiv, okay, question to Rajiv. Is it okay if they up the prices by 10% but not charge as COVID charges? This is a gentleman who wants to know that, if they hide the charges under the disguise of extra charge, are you okay with it?
It really depends upon the quality of food and the taste of the food and the overall experience. That's what I said. At the end of the day, if I like it, I really don't have an issue if I can afford it. Regardless of whatever the restaurant be, whether it is a roadside thela or whether it is a, JW Marriott. At the end of the day, if it shows me that it gives me the value of money for that outing that I have done, whether they charge me 200 rupees for a vada pav or a 20 rupees for a vada pav, it really does not make that difference. So from that point of view, I am okay. Yes, as a COVID chart especially, I really don't think that it is something that you should be passing it on as a special chart saying that this is for this particular thing. But otherwise, I am okay with if they want to take a call on the business for increasing the cost. That is up to them. That's fine.
Okay, so second last question or comment, and then after that, the final one before we wrap up for the day. Binaifar, as a working mother, even when the lockdown opens up and you go back working at office, would you allow your daughter to eat out, or would you still be certain, or will there be still certain restrictions from your side?
Well, we have, even before the lockdown, as I said, been eating mostly home cooked food, mostly veg food. So cooking at home, eating at home is been like a routine for us. occasionally we have been eating out. And as I said, if the restaurants that we have visited before give us takeaway and I'm satisfied, then I will probably bring it home for my family. I will not hesitate. In fact, I was planning to order from Udupi, but the Swiggy part
Okay.
discouraged me.
Great, thank you. And thanks, Binaifar and Rajiv. I'm taking this as the last one. It's addressed to you and me both.
Yeah.
So both of you chose to eat street food first. Is it because subconsciously you all felt better because you all could see it being made? Do you think open kitchens could be a way of the future? Rajiv, quickly, your thoughts on this last question.
I am always in for open kitchens, and I have been from the time that Copper Chimney started using the glass partition rather than your mortar and brick partition in their restaurants long time back. And as far as the roadside is concerned, I did not see her making it, but I was sort of convinced when she said that whatever the steps that they're taking in order to safeguard her own family, she would be doing it the same way as far as my family was concerned. So that's the only thing that I have to add. And yes, I am definitely in for open kitchens. And I think that will give a sense of security to the person, whoever is eating, saying that there are these standards which are being followed. People are following the procedures and rules which are required. And it will make a hell lot of a difference for sure.
Thanks, Rajiv. So yeah, my perspective, Mr. Vyas, is on this point is that, I really don't know why was it vada pav, was it done in front of me, or was it, I think it was the first available outside food that I could get my hands on. I am a rebel by nature and I just wanted to probably kind of do that. But vada pav is my favorite street food and I would never miss a chance to lose that. My size speaks for that. Your second part of the question, would an open kitchen make a difference to me? Personally, no. I really don't care. As a consumer, I don't care a damn. Not because I'm from the industry, but I'm pretty okay about it. Like Rajiv prefers, he's been a fan of Copper Chimney's open kitchen and many other restaurants who've done that, and it doesn't make a difference to me. Having said that, something to leave you and the others with a thought is that one of the things that the restaurateurs are doing right now, and they are working at it. I'm telling you, as a part of the industry, and I'm not plugging it in, but what they're doing is they're going to bring the live kitchen into the restaurant. They're putting up huge screens. There's back-end work being done about it. I'm completely aware of it. And I'm talking about bigger restaurants, okay, or brand. I'm not talking about Udupi or a uncle auntie shop. They are looking at gaining trust of the consumer by putting a screen in the restaurant saying, here's how we are doing social distancing or physical distancing in the kitchen. Here's how clean our kitchen is whilst you are in the restaurant eating. So I'm looking forward to that, and I'm curious, and that's where the cost part came in. But that's for a separate session with the professional people. So I've had a lovely chat with all three of you. Thank you very much. I'm not, just one more thing, Binaifar. There is one comment, last one I'm giving you, and though you can see, but I want to give the pleasure, I want to have the pleasure of saying it. Please ask Binaifar when is she flying to the UK. So Binaifar, after the session, you can answer that with Tinaz. But if you want to say something to her, tell her right now, she can see you. So Tinaz is asking you the question, when are you flying to the UK?
I can say God willing soon. Or after we have conquered Corona. I think working with Tata, as we will be the first ones to be given a vaccine once it comes out. I'm quite sure of that because our company cares. And once we are safe and we are very assured that we can travel, then I have no hesitation to travel anywhere in the world.
So thanks, Binaifar. Tinaz, I hope that makes you a little more happy. Binaifar, thank you so much. For your lovely thoughts about your family and the care that you feel even now as a mother. Personally, you may want to go out and eat, but I think what I loved, and I didn't want to break my thought at that time, but I want to thank you for being a caring mother. Even in the last question that was asked to you, I appreciate that and respect that. Avi,
yes,
thank you for taking time out.
Thank you for having me.
And I wish you. Sorry.
I wasn't really doing a lot, so it was really fun.
No, but I think you gave us a lot of perspective, and it was good. And sorry if I couldn't have addressed a little bit more to you, but thank you, and I wish you well when you do travel. When you go back, travel safely, and please do message me once you go back, and
Yes,
I'd love to
definitely.
know on a separate platforms with you,
Okay.
how was your return journey is compared
Yes.
to your ongoing journey, just from me being curious little me. And Rajiv, thank you.
Satya,
Thank
Yes,
you. Sure.
Rajiv, thanks
just
for
have a
your,
little message for all
thank
the
you.
working mothers that they should enjoy this quality time with their family and take each day as it comes and make the best of it, because I know we are all facing tough times handling our work and our family. So please make the best of each day, because it is up to you. It's not in anyone's hands. We all are in a tough situation. Just pray, plan out your work, prepare, proceed, say a prayer, and you will definitely go through these tough times and come
Thank
out
you.
stronger and better.
Thank you, Binayfer, for
You all will.
being ever so loving and giving the person that you are. Really appreciate
And
that.
we are
Uh,
looking forward to eating out, Satyan. To
Great.
dress up, wear our nice clothes,
Thank you.
being
So
served.
Rajiv, yeah, thanks. Rajiv, thank you for your time and thank you
Thank
for
you.
your
Thank you.
efforts. I had a great time with you guys. Before I log off, and there's a session starting from tomorrow, the restaurant series. I have 3 lovely women chef owners who are doing the show with me. Please log in. You have the details on my social media handle. If you don't, just search for Satyen Dasondi. There's only one Satyen Dasondi across the world. And you will find some details on that. Please log in, Rajiv and the others. Thank you very much. Avi,
Yes,
once
yes.
again, safe
Thank you.
journey,
Thank you for
safe
Thank you,
travels.
thank you.
And Binayfer, thanks a lot. I'm ending the meeting
Thank you,
now. Bye,
Satya.
guys.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Rajiv.
Thanks.
Thank you, Avi, and all the best for
Thanks,
all your
everyone.
other
Thank
sessions.
you.
Thank you so much,
Bye.
all the
Bye.
participants. Thank you for joining us.